welcome to Camille's Country Corner. I am Camille, and on today's episode we will be making a couple of desserts. So I will be making some chocolate chip butterscotch cookies, and I will also show you how to make some old-fashioned fudge. All right, let's get started with our baking today. If you haven't yet, hit subscribe. Definitely hit that like button. All right, let's get started. Right, we are taking this recipe today out of our Hershey's cookbook, and I have made a variation of this recipe before, but we're going to go ahead and make it today. So I am going to cream 2 sticks of butter, which is 1 cup, at room temperature. I have my oven preheating at 375. I have salted butter here today, but you can definitely use unsalted butter. It's just whatever my store has is what I pick up these days. It's lucky to have anything in the stores. Gonna go ahead and crack 2 eggs. These are also at room temperature. I just find it easier that if I can and do this in advance, it's just easier to have everything at room temperature. I am going to be using 1 teaspoon of my homemade vanilla. All right, to my bowl here, I am going to be adding 3/4 of a cup of granulated sugar. A little bit shy here. My sugar's a little lumpy. That's the way I bought it. I am also using 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. Today I am using light brown sugar. But if you have dark brown sugar, you can use that as well. I actually prefer the flavor of the dark brown sugar, only because it gives a more in-depth flavor to your cookies. All right, we're gonna go ahead and cream that together. While we're creaming that together, I am going to be adding 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. You can use whatever flour you choose here. And I'm just using level cups. And that's 2 1/4 cups of flour. I also need 1 teaspoon of baking soda. We also need 1 teaspoon of salt. No, actually a 1/2 teaspoon. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. All right, we're gonna add our 2 eggs. Let's scrape down this bowl a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and add in our dry mixture. Woo. I hate that it does that, and I know I can buy one of those things that go around the bowl so it doesn't do that. All right, and I'm going to add a cup each. Today I'm using milk chocolate chips and butterscotch chips. And we're using 1 cup each. Oh, that smells so good. All right, let me get this cleaned up and then we'll scoop the cookies and get them in the oven. All right, I just have a cookie sheet here lined with parchment paper, and I'm just using 2 spoons. And we're just going to If you have a cookie scooper, great, even better. I have one, it just doesn't work all that great, and I just haven't replaced it, so I just use 2 spoons. This makes probably about 40 some odd cookies, depending on how big you like your cookies. I usually just like 1 or 2 bites on mine, but I'm making these for a friend of mine, and so I don't think he cares how big my cookies are. He's just gonna love them. And by the time he's watching this video, he'll be eating the cookies that I'm sending. All right, so at 375 for 9 minutes in the oven. I'll bring you back when they are ready. Now that the cookies are done, this is what they look like. Pretty good sized. And what I do is I take them out of the oven and I let them sit on the cookie sheet for a couple of minutes. That way they finish cooking and they don't overcook. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start the fudge here. To my pan, I have this on a medium-high heat. I have 1.5 sticks of butter. I am using salted butter, but that doesn't matter what kind you use. And I'm also going to be adding 3 cups of regular granulated sugar. This is Fantasy Fudge. This is the original fudge recipe that they used to have on the back of the marshmallow cream container. Not quite sure why they stopped putting it on there, but this is the best fudge recipe ever. All right, so we have the 3 cups of sugar, 1.5 cups of butter, and we're going to use 2/3 of a cup of evaporated milk. Go ahead and stir this all together and let this melt down. We want to bring this to a boil. And then once we bring it to a boil, we are going to set our timer for 5 minutes and continuously stir. Okay, now that our candy, and fudge is a candy, is coming to a boil, I'm going to go ahead and set my timer for 5 minutes, and we're going to continuously stir this so it doesn't burn. I like using a big pot here. That way when it boils up, I don't get burnt. And as you can see, it is bubbling. This part is important. This way, this gets to the soft ball stage and you want it to rolling boil for 5 minutes. That way your fudge will set up. Okay, we've got about 30 seconds left on our timer. And as you can see, this has gotten very thick, gotten to be a very rapid boil, that no matter how hard I stir, it does not stop. And I make sure that I scrape all the sides to make sure that it does not crystallize. Of course, it is not a caramel, but still it's sugar and milk and butter, the same as you would make caramel. All right, we're going to go ahead and turn this off. And we're going to remove it from the heat. Okay, make sure you can still see me here. All right, we're going to go ahead and add the 2 cups of chocolate. I am using semi-sweet Belgian chocolate squares. So they are chunks of chocolate. And then I am also using a 7-ounce jar of marshmallow fluff. Okay, I'm also going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And we're going to stir until it's all combined. The sizzling is the vanilla. You'll know when it's ready when everything looks combined and your arm is really tired from stirring. All right, let's go ahead and move. I have got a prepared pan. It is an 8 by 11 pan here. And you can use a 9 by 13 if you want your fudge to be not as thick, but I like a piece thick of fudge. Okay. Now we just have to spread it all out in our pan. You can either leave this on the counter to let it get to room temperature, but I am going to go ahead and toss this in the refrigerator so it can get set. And you can put it in the refrigerator for a couple of hours and it will be set. All right, I'll bring you back in a moment. Okay, this is what the fudge looks like once it is set. Let's go ahead and cut a piece and try this. Okay, now that our desserts are done, let's go ahead and give them a try. Here is the chewy, delicious chocolate butterscotch cookie. Oh my goodness, the butterscotch. So tasty. And you can't go wrong with a chocolate chip cookie. They're just the best. Glass of milk or hot tea or coffee if that's your choice. That's a fantastic option for a quick dessert. And now for our fantasy fudge. Let's see. It is not creamy. It is creamy, but it is the way fudge is supposed to be. This stuff people make with the condensed milk, it's like a chewy, weird texture. I don't like that. It's my opinion. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I just like the old-fashioned kind. It is fantastic. It's the way my grandma used to make it. And that's the way it should be made. That's just my opinion. But I make this for one of my friend's daughters who just started college. So this is her gift from me. And she'll be excited to get it because I give it to her once a year. And she absolutely loves it. The cookies are another gift for someone that I'm going to be mailing out here as well. So I hope that you definitely give these kind of gifts as presents to your friends, your family. Everyone loves to receive a homemade gift of some sort. And when it's made with love, absolutely, they can taste it in every bite. So I am so glad that you stopped by here today, and I hope that you definitely try these recipes. If you haven't yet, hit subscribe, definitely hit that like button, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for coming by and baking with me today. Enjoy.